That's happening tomorrow morning with Laura Carlo from 5 to 10 here on 99.
Inherent.
Okay, it is 7 o'clock, and I'll call a meeting to order. Let me first introduce the table up here: Lisa Normandin, Al Gravel, I'm Ray Beal, Don Bowen, Jim Besikoski, and Paul Doherty, all members. And I want to notify everybody that this is being recorded and broadcast over the Lunenburg Public Access in accordance with the open meeting law. We'll start the meeting with Lisa reading the application and any other submitted communications that we should have in the record. And then the applicant will have an opportunity to make any additional comments that they would like and submit any additional documents. Come forward to the podium because we are on air and it's being recorded, so we need to be to the speaker. Following that, we'll have an opportunity for public comments. Same thing is that whoever wants to comment, either pro or con, is asked to come to the podium to speak, and the members will have an opportunity then to ask questions, and we'll bring it back to the board for deliberation after public comment. So, Lisa, would you please?
This is an application for a special permit, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9, Zoning Board of Appeals. The name and address of the applicant is Hannaford Supermarket, 333 Massachusetts Avenue in Lunenburg. The undersigned hereby appeals as follows: for the outdoor display of seasonal items, plants. The proposed action has begun. The basis for this application for special permit is found in the following section of the Lunenburg zoning bylaw, Section 4631J, open air sales. The street address of the property is 333 Massachusetts Avenue in Lunenburg, assessors map 74, parcel 73. The name and address of each holder of legal title to the land, which is the subject of this case, is Centro GA Lunenburg Crossing LLC, P.O. Box 4900, Department 124, Scottsdale, Arizona 85261, and the deed is recorded in Worcester Northern District Registry of Deeds, Book 7339, page 358, and recorded January 11th, 2011. The special permit questions are as follows. The Hannaford Supermarket and Pharmacy, located at 333 Mass Avenue in Lunenburg, is applying for a special permit in order to conduct outside floral sales. Hannaford shall also comply with the following guidelines as they pertain to this special permit. 1, this will not be injurious or dangerous to the public health or unduly hazardous because of traffic congestion, danger of fire or explosion or other reasons. 2, this will not have a material adverse effect on the value of land and buildings in the neighborhood or on the amenities of the neighborhood. 3, this will be operated with reasonable regard for order and sightliness if in open use. 4, this will not produce noise, vibration, smoke, dust, odor, heat, or glare observable at the lot lines in amounts clearly detrimental to the normal use of adjacent property. And this is signed by Mitchell Feeney, Director of Real Estate Development and Manager, 145 Pleasant Hill Road, Scarborough, Maine, 04034, on May 15th, 2015. There's a letter here from Hannaford Brothers Company to the town of Lunenburg regarding the application for special permit outside floral sales. Dear Town of Lunenburg, this letter authorizes Mark Bono, store manager, to represent Victory Distributors LLC before the Lunenburg Zoning Board of Appeals in the granting of a special permit to allow outside floral sales at our Hannaford Supermarket and Pharmacy at 333 Mass Ave in Lunenburg. Sincerely, Mitch Feeney, Real Estate Development Manager. There's also a letter from the Building Commissioner for the Town of Lunenburg. Dear Mark, please be advised that the proposed open-air sales that you have requested for the Hannaford Supermarket, located at 333 Massachusetts Avenue, requires a special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals under the Town of Lunenburg Protective Bylaw, Section 4631. Applications for the Zoning Board of Appeals may be obtained at my office. If you have any questions in regards to this correspondence, please contact me at the office. There is a copy of the field card from the Board of Assessors office and the assessors map with a list of abutters, and they have included photographs of where they want to have the outdoor display area. And I did receive a memo from the Adam Burney, the Land Use Director, regarding Hannaford special permit. This is dated June 9th. Currently, the Zoning Board of Appeals has an application submitted for the alteration of a special permit at 301 Massachusetts Avenue. Per Section 8421C of the Protective Bylaw, all uses that require a special permit are subject to development plan review. Although this application is a modification to an existing special permit, it is altering the use of the property and is subject to the aforementioned section of the bylaw. The applicant may contact me for details on the submission and meeting dates, and if you have questions or require further information, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Okay, would you like to speak to the application, please? Yep, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We're applying for a special permit to be able to sell plants outside the store, basically seasonally. What we're proposing for area is not going to alter the building or change anything we have. What we're looking to do is utilize the area where we currently house our shopping carts. So during these seasons, we take the shopping carts, we bring them inside, we put them in the foyer area, and we utilize that space for outdoor plants. The area on both sides of the doors would be utilized, but primarily as you face the building on the right-hand side, we would be using about 35 feet of space under the awning to house those plants. Basically for us, it's not our primary business, but as far as staying competitive with the people like Market Basket and Shaw's, who all offer the same type of plants, we feel that to stay competitive, we should be offering the same. It's basically convenient for our customers. It's for that maybe the senior citizen that's on the Mart bus that needs a couple of plants and isn't going to go out to a big garden center, or maybe a customer that is going somewhere and wants to grab a hanging basket on the way. So it's not looking to really increase much as far as traffic, or it's not, as I said, it's not a primary thing for us, but we feel that it's something we should have.
Add-on sales, basically?
Yes, exactly, yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, the only other use would be in the winter is we do the same thing with wreaths. So we'll offer wreaths to the consumer, but in the same area, in the same confined space.
Okay. Is there any other documents that you've brought, or?
No, basically I've submitted everything I had.
Okay.
There is listed underneath the pictures the size of the area that's in question. So it is written exactly how much space we'd be utilizing for this.
If
you're ready for comments, I got one.
Why don't we ask, have an opportunity for questions, or we can comment when we bring it back to the board.
No problem.
Yeah. Question?
You say 35 feet by now. I'm familiar with this store. I go
Right.
there. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
What is the total length of that area? Because I know that the doors are right there, so
Yes.
you don't really have the plants.
No, we don't have the plants. If you look at the photo, there's a white firebox that you can see on the wall. Everything is to the right of that.
Yes.
We would not go beyond.
The total.
Right, so that area is the 35 feet from that spot all the way to the end of the sidewalk.
And do you know how much area it is from the firebox to the doors?
To the doors, it's probably about 12 feet, 12 to 15 feet, yeah.
And the picture shows all the shopping carts here, but
Right.
like I say, I frequent that store, so I don't usually see a lot of shopping carts in that area, with winter or summer, it seems like most of them.
Well,
inside.
when we start the day, that area is full, but as the day goes along and you have them in the parking lot and inside the store in different areas, that area dwindles down. We always keep the inside area full, so the first to go down will be the outside area.
That makes
So, and
sense, 'cause I always go there late.
yeah, so if you came at 7 a.m., you'd see that full right to the.
Okay, that's all I had for right now, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
You have questions?
I'm going to ask a question, and I might be repeating. You'll have to repeat what I said because of my hearing.
Okay.
How many square feet are you proposing?
For this use,
Oh, that's yours.
the right-hand side is 35 by 9.
3,500 square feet.
No, 35 by 9. So square footage would be, yeah, exactly,
115.
1,500.
Now,
And-
what period of time are you planning to do this?
Normally, we start early May, 1st of May in that area, and it runs through about this time of year, maybe late June. And then we pick up a fall program sometimes in September. We run that for about 6 weeks, and as I said, then we run the wreaths at Christmas time. So probably a total of 5 to 6 months of the year that we would have something out there.
One might consider that what you're asking for, since it's not allowed to do outdoor display, you want to do outdoor display.
Right.
And there are people who are in the business and they have outdoor display by definition, one would say.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of, in other words, if we don't allow outdoor display, if we just allow it, that opens a Pandora's box on all applications throughout the zoning area. So if you're going to do something, it should clearly define what it is and why it is, and the need for it and the hardship aspect of it. And if you can file all of that, me, from my point of view, would have a positive ear. But of course, we'd have to listen to the problem from competitors.
Yes.
Excuse me, Don, but I think that's something we can have for discussion when we get to the deliberation part.
Okay, I'm just
So I'd just
framing it.
like to get the questions out.
Yeah, okay, I just wanted to frame it.
Okay.
Will you or would you plan on doing anything to enclose or put any other screening or anything like that?
We haven't planned that. Again, we like it to be open air, but we certainly could consider that if we didn't want to make any alterations to what we had. Basically, we're trying to keep it under the awning and within
both
that certain area. So the side on the left will be very minimal. We're only looking for 10 feet on that side. Because there's not a lot of space and it goes down into the rest of the plaza, so we just want to have a minimum offering on that side. So we're just looking at a 10-foot spot on that side. But the larger display would be on the right of the store.
And again, any of the carts that are presently there, you would house inside?
Correct.
Try to if...
Yeah. Well, normally, we have that long foyer that runs the length of the store. So what we'll do during these times is we'll put those carts in that hallway. And we have enough space that we can run them down. And as you said, during the day, they run down fairly quickly.
Is there any sort of a requirement, like a safety requirement, how many feet, how open area it has to be around the doors, the entrances and exits?
As far as I know, there's not a specific distance. We try to keep it over 10 feet is what we look at for policy-wise. We want to have people easy in and out, and some people are going in with carriages, some are coming out. You don't want people to be inconvenienced, so you want to certainly have as much space as they need to get by so that people feel comfortable.
Do I remember you saying that you thought that was 12 feet?
Yeah, it's 12 to 15, and I didn't
Yeah.
measure exactly.
Yeah. But the area that you would set aside then for the display was 35 by 9,
Correct.
and that keeps it all under the overhang, right?
No, there's 7 feet beyond the overhang. If you look at our building, we have a little smoker's hut that we have off to the right of the overhang, and we included that space in front of the smoker's hut.
Isn't that a fire lane?
No, this is just on the concrete. We have nothing on the
On the
tarmac.
concrete?
Right.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing on the tarmac.
Okay, well, I thought that smoker's tent was outside.
Yeah, it sits right on the side of the the overhang. And like I said, it's pushed back to the same distance, so there is still space on the concrete to display.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, just to clarify on the square footage, it should come up, that's 35 by 9 that you would use for this display, right?
So actually, it would be square footage-wise, it's only 28 up to the end of the awning, and then 7 feet beyond that. And there's only 4 feet there in front of that smoker's hut.
In terms of square feet, though, that's 315 square feet,
Right.
plus 90 square feet on the other side, right?
Yes. Well,
10 by 9.
yes. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay. So a total then of 405 square feet.
Were you thinking about possibly having any personnel out there with a cash register or anything along those lines?
No, we don't plan to sell out there. I mean, we want to make it available, but
Just to
we're not, we're
bring
not
in-
going to put a register or anyone out there to, it would be for customers to bring in inside.
All set? All right. No, I'll open it up for public comment.
Oh, no, they're not collated, so. There's one. Do you want to make them all up, or?
These are all the same.
I have them.
Take one and pass it down to them.
Good evening, my name's Richard Bursch. I live at 250 Electric Avenue, and I did have just a couple quick comments about the application for a special permit. Back in 1993, this project was proposed and designed, went to the planning board, and then came to this board for a special permit. At that time, and I'm just reading from the permit, for your decision, you reviewed certificate of approval from the development plan review from the Lunenburg zoning bylaw, the development plan review and findings, the development plan review report, and the directives and conditions of the development plan review. So obviously this plan had been looked at and designed prior to your permit. During your hearings, it was asked if there was any plan for outdoor display or sales, and there was an answer that there was no plan for outdoor display or sale. So this project was designed and permitted with the intent of having all the sales take place inside the buildings. There was never any consideration for using any of the outside areas for display or for sales. These are clearly and arguably the two, and I'm talking about not just Hannaford, but the permit was for the entire shopping center, Walmart, the small stores, and at that time Shop and Save, which became Hannaford's. At that time, there was no consideration given for any outdoor sales in the shopping mall itself. So these are arguably two of the busiest buildings in town. I'll speak to Hannaford first. If you look at the building, main entrance, as the manager stated, is the right-hand side. There's one door for the entrance. I have distributed some pictures. Picture number 1 is from the springtime, and that is part of the display they have of plant material for this season. They clearly have all underneath the awning, the whole area where the carriages are stored. They also have product out in the fire lanes. So now you have customers shopping outside the building in the fire lanes. This is clearly not the intent of the design of the building. It is clearly a safety hazard to have shopping going on out there. This took place prior to any permit being issued, so it's clearly in violation. I have talked with the zoning official, and he had been up there many times over multiple years trying to control this without a permit. I don't see how this can be safely policed if a permit was issued. The next picture I have is of Walmart. That is on the left-hand side of the building as you would drive around to get to the tire center. They have, it is a little fuzzy, but it's clearly not cars or trucks or something else parked there. It's clearly pallets of merchandise against the building, tables of plants. So now they have customers shopping in a travel lane far away from the building. Again, this happened prior to any permit being issued, clearly in violation. There's no space up there for them to be doing any outdoor display or permitting, or outdoor display or sales. And again, as a special permit was issued for the entire shopping center, I'm not sure how you can turn around and say that this use is a safe use. Nothing has changed, the intent hasn't changed. There's no areas that have been designated for this use. The use at the entrances at Hannaford and of course the travel lane at Walmart were designed for entrances and for traveling, not for display and sales of product. Another safety concern, these, at least Walmart, has one of the highest theft rates and shoplifting in town. So now all of that was taking place inside the building. Now you have product that is outside the building, clearly not able to be policed. So now you've opened up both stores to further and greater events of shoplifting, which again will put an additional burden on the local police to go up and investigate these criminal activities. So in closing, I don't think that the special permit should be issued for this property. I don't think that it has been designed for this use. It's clearly a safety hazard as you have shopping taking place in fire lanes, you have displayed product in travel lanes, you have no way of policing the product, and it was not the clear intent of the design and the permitting of the buildings when they were initially built. They were initially built, and the intent of the design was for all material and all sales to take place inside the buildings. They're clearly large enough buildings that if they need 300 square feet to put plant material, they can clearly put it inside the building. They don't have to put it outside the building. And those are my comments.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome. Would you like to speak?
I would not like to, but I will.
You don't have to. It's just an opportunity.
Thank you. I'm Michelle Harvey from 250 Electric Ave also, and the pictures that you have actually were from my cell phone. My brother-in-law, Mark, is a firefighter in town, and those travel lanes, clearly it's been in the fire lane, and I was the one texting them to Richard saying, could you please tell Mike that these are in the fire lane, they're in the fire lane. And Mike was, our zoning officer was trying to enforce it with no compliance whatsoever. So my concern is that it is where I shop. We're going there tonight to pick up a prescription. It just is a congested area, and I can't help but think that those fire lanes were designed for a reason. And as I look at that building, I see no other place for it other than inside in that big area where they store the carts now. Seems like you could put this product easily inside the building and not cause the problems. So, thank you.
Okay. Okay, I guess everybody's had the opportunity to speak, so we'll bring it back to the board for discussion and further questions or comments.
Yeah. Okay, I'd like you to address that. Like I say, I've been there, and when I asked about were there any safety rules and as far as that entrance and all of that, part of it, in my mind, I was thinking that you can't go with product underneath right out to the 9 feet, because it would be right out to the pavement where people are coming in. And then where there is it does say no parking fire lane right there. And this picture here does clearly show that they are right up to the tar area. So, if you could, but when I've gone to your store, it appears that the product is really closer to the wall, and not, I haven't seen this personally.
Right.
But clearly it exists. I don't know
Yes.
if you've seen the picture.
No, I haven't.
So I would like you to just address that.
Yes.
Like I say, how far out from the wall, plus you say you need carts and stuff, and people need to be in there to look at the plants or whatever, so there is a certain area you need. You could address that.
The 9-foot area only goes up to the awning. The concrete extends beyond that. So the 9 feet is not right to the tarmac. It's not. It's only where the awning ends. Then you have continued concrete. Then you have the fire lane.
What's that distance though?
The distance between the 9 feet and
the awning and the concrete.
And the end of the awning and the concrete is 6 feet. I'd have to go back and remeasure, but that's what I was told. So I'm taking that as, but there is at least a distance between where the awning ends, as you can see in the picture, and then where the fire lanes begin. Now, we never displayed anything in the fire lane. And if you look at this picture, and if you go to, you frequent the store, there's a concrete slab that is after the window before the fire lane begins.
I agree with that, but I think from the picture what they're saying is the shoppers themselves would have to be in the
Correct.
fire lane to look at the product.
That's why when we filed the permit, we did not include that area. As I said, we were starting from the white firebox that you see in the picture to the right, and not including this area in our request.
I didn't include what you were asking.
Correct. That's why we didn't include that, because...
That's why I wanted you to address that.
Right. Safety-wise, we didn't feel that was the right thing, so we will not put plants in this area. We would just follow the areas that I requested. And anything that you see that isn't in that area, we will not do.
Okay. Thank you.
I got a question, sir. On the day this picture was taken, why is that product in front of the building?
The reason it came in on a truck, it was placed there, the carriages were still in the way, and we hadn't moved it. The produce manager is the one that made a decision to put it there. As I said, we've stopped putting things there, and we certainly, as we move forward with this special permit, would not put anything there. But it was just a temporary placement.
When you say the carriage is in the way, I can clearly see structures where the carriages go that have plants on them.
Oh, yes.
Were the carriages in front of them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, the produce manager made a decision, which wasn't the right decision, but we had them out there for a period of time. And again, it wasn't the right thing, so when we filed the permit, we excluded that area. But not to say that we haven't done the wrong thing in the past. So we're just trying to make it right. As far as filing for the permit, again, we eliminated all our plants about 3 or 4 weeks ago when we found out we had to file for this permit. So that's why we're here. Obviously, we don't want to be doing something that we shouldn't be. So we removed our plants, and right now I don't have anything there. So we're trying to go through the right process. Okay.
So as Al commented, I'm also a frequent visitor there. And so I guess that I had, without knowing, had assumed that that was permitted. So it was a surprise when I first saw this application. But also I wanted to comment on the memo from Land Use Director Adam Burney.
Yes.
he made the distinction that it was an on his memo. Which one? Let me see if I got it.
He said any special permit.
What's that?
Said any special permit from him. Anytime you issue a special permit, it goes before him.
No, but he referred to it as an alteration of a special permit, kind of alluding to this gentleman's comment that this has gone through a permitting process before, which I don't have a copy of. What happened?
I read it online.
Here you go.
Here it is. Here it is. Yeah, currently, the Zoning Board of Appeals has an application submitted for the alteration of a special permit at 301 Mass Ave. And then he goes on to reference that bylaw for the all uses that require special permit are subject to development plan review.
But that's kind of a new twist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the wording within,
I like the way he said, though, alter the special permit. I think that
Yeah.
answers the
that
gentleman's
addresses
question
the
about...
issue that he
Right.
he brought up.
I think in his opinion, we can do it.
Yeah.
My understanding is I would have to go before, if this was approved, I'd have to go before the planning board.
That's correct.
Right,
Yes.
which I've already had a discussion with Mr. Bernie about that.
So I would encourage you to talk to him about that in more detail, because he interacts with the planning board much more than we do. But the process is correct, is that it comes before this board first.
Right.
For our decision on whether or not to grant the alteration to that special permit, I think we should call it. And then, if we decide in the favor of that, then the next step would be to the planning board.
That's correct. And I did speak to him this afternoon, actually.
Okay.
About that,
Yeah,
about moving ahead with that if this was granted.
okay. Don, you
Yeah.
wanted to get into...
The original plan, Marion Benson, some years ago, she was a strict lady, but she turned around and didn't want like on 2A, the garbage sale, the
flea market?
I go there every other week and pick up a couple of things. But she didn't want it to turn into that. And then you come forward, and I can sense, and tell me if I'm wrong, that you've got flowers, and it's a critical window, very critical window, to get in the hands of the buyer. And if it's in the store, you're not going to meet that. It's outside, you're going to meet it. Matter of fact, you'd like to put it down in the street, further down on 2A, if you could. But the competitor says that's my livelihood, and I object. My thought on the matter is that if you give a special permit, then special permits to do anything is not allowed, then you've got to define that special permit very specifically, and it's got to be for flowers. It can't be, you started to say, well, later on we'll do this and that, and the next thing we may have bloomers, and because you didn't put a cap. So I think that my thought to the board is if they agree with what you're trying to do and think it's reasonable, that they put restraints, and I'm not going to do that. That's my thoughts.
Okay, thank you. Let me just, the referenced bylaw here is directly to the open-air sales. We can put parameters around what's allowed in that, but the basic application is for open-air sales.
Well, if it's undercover, is it actually open air?
I would,
I
I
don't
guess
know.
in my mind, I would say yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So as I say, outdoor sales instead of
Yeah,
open air,
yeah,
it would be a little
yeah.
bit more.
And that's why we're trying to keep it as contained as we can, so that it's not, we certainly don't want to be in the parking lot and in the fire lane, and we're not trying to make it a rummage sale. We want to make sure that it's well contained, and it's mainly, as far as I can see, it's a convenience. And I don't think it is the same consumer that is buying a plant at Hannaford that's buying a plant from a garden center, where they'd be going for more extensive. I don't see us selling, a full shrubbery line or to a homeowner. It's more of a, if I'm going to buy one or two plants, or maybe I have a potter on the porch that I want to put a plant in, I think that's the consumer that we're addressing.
I guess that from my perspective, I would see that as a convenience to the people that come to your market for
Correct.
groceries. And it's an opportunity, I'm often commenting about how they change the position of some of your products, so that you have to search a little bit and see something that that you might want in addition. So it's the psychology of retailing, I guess.
Right.
So I don't, from my perspective, I don't have an issue with that. I think that one of my concerns is that if the board seriously considers granting this alteration to the existing permit, that we ought to define exactly where this can go. Because I'm sensitive to this gentleman's comments about the fire lane and making sure that we don't have people standing in a fire lane. And it should not be blocked.
Right.
I think in your own interest, as you've pointed out, you want to keep it away from that entrance door. But my observation is that there is use of both of the entrances at that store.
Yes.
I know I personally have used both entrances. And to have something interfere with my coming in and going out would be an annoyance.
Right.
As I'm sure
Which
it
we
would to
certainly
a lot of
don't want.
people. Yeah. So I guess I would put on the table for the board to consider is limiting the space to just the area that's covered and back, what was it, 6 feet
Right.
from the edge of the concrete?
Yes. Yeah, when we look at the fixtures we have, we normally have 4 rows of shopping carts. The actual fixture takes up 2 rows. So that other area would be the area where the consumer would be.
Yeah.
Like I said, we had, in that picture, we had taken too much real estate, and it isn't a safe situation. So when we put the permit together, we excluded that. So we would not use that area.
Perhaps we would want to further define it with some language saying that only plants or some sort of floral wording could be there, because come wintertime, then you can see a wall of rock salt there or something, you get that creep effect. So if that's the intent, then maybe we should put that verbiage in there also if we
You mean come
intend.
back, continue?
No, in other words, we're talking about, okay, we're going to define the area, okay, we're going to let you in X by X, but only for display of plants. So then there won't be other products come creeping in when the plants are gone.
No bathing suits.
No bathing suits, no. You got to go down the street for
I
that.
just trying to get it in my
Right,
mind.
that way it's just defined to, and I don't know what the right word would
Now,
be.
the only other thing is the financial hardship on the down on Electric Avenue. If you come out...
Well, as I said, I don't think we're dealing with the same
Business.
consumer.
That is business. If you can get to put them out, you get to put them out. If they go out, that's going to take a chunk away from their business, I can see. They're going to have to be more aggressive. They probably have to put someone up there in the top redirected them.
I believe they're pretty aggressive.
Have I not seen other
As I said,
products?
my
Have I not seen some local produce from some of the local farms out there?
Yeah, occasionally we've done that.
I have seen.
Yeah, we've put out a couple of tables with local product. Maybe we have corn that's come in, and we'll put out in that area.
And that is something.
That's the creep factor.
Right, exactly. Well, again, we're trying to designate the area more than, but it's all fresh, whatever goes out there. And again, if it's determined that that's not acceptable, then we would move on with just plants or just floral. As I said, we have wreaths, which we consider part of floral.
I
But
would go with that.
yeah, but if we decide the farm stand or that kind of thing is not acceptable, again, we have a close-to-home product. We try to support local as much as we can. So if we can get that, we'll try to do something like that. But again, that can be done if we needed to. We would do it indoors. If
I mean, I agree with you that what you're doing is different than what plant centers do, garden centers. You're not giving advice, you're not telling what type of plant goes with what type, when to plant it, how much water, shape, blah, blah. You know, if you want that, then you're gonna go to a garden center.
Right.
If you, myself, a couple days before Mother's Day, happened to be down at Home Depot, and they had hanging plants outside, so you know what? I'm here, I grab one, and there you go. So,
Yeah.
it's
And it-
convenience for the customer.
Right, and again, competitively, all our competitors offer them. Market Basket, Shaw's, BJ's, anyone else that's in the same business that we are has the same offering.
Okay, Al, you said, oh, I
There are
thought you
I
had,
had already asked.
oh, okay,
Is there a motion on the table yet?
not yet. I guess that we are ready for a
So this still has to go, whatever our decision, it still has to go before the planning board?
Correct.
Is that,
Well, it only has to go to the planning board if we grant,
Right, if we grant it, right. If we don't grant it, then no.
As an alteration.
I talked with the planning board prior to coming here, to Adam. And I said to Adam, because he's a new person, that took Marion Benson's place. Marion should have stayed out a little longer, could make a few more bucks. But he said that he didn't have any plans for a major change in the bylaws for a couple of years. That's where he was. But then I spoke to him about his thoughts on the matter of a special permit. And he felt that the special permit would be in order. And that's why I raised the issue earlier when you told me that you hold off. The amount of the definition of what's allowed should be very clear. This is why I brought the issue up. And then you came back and you said, well, I got a whole bunch of other things that might go there, and then you're going to come back and reinterpret our bylaws that we did, and we're opening the window a little bit, and we wouldn't want to see you do that, so that if we grant, it would seem to me the chair might make sure that the right constraints are put in front of you. That's my thoughts.
okay, fine. That gets to a motion, and if we can put conditions on whatever we want to grant. So, by all means, if somebody wants to voice a motion with conditions, let's have it.
Yeah, I'll move we grant the special permit based on the dimensions provided by the applicant, only the dimensions provided by the applicant, and only for plants, or how do we, what word do we want to use to encompass that type of outdoor display of flowers, or?
Well, like I say, I think at times they put produce out there from local farmers and stuff, and I'm all in favor of supporting local farmers, so I don't want to.
So flowers and produce? I mean, I don't want to see melons out there.
I don't think we would get those locally, but
Yeah. So help me here with some wording now.
Seasonal,
What would encompass that, but leave out the rock salt, or leave out the whatever else, I mean.
What are you saying, floral arrangements and things like
Well,
that?
flowers, I don't know, living or dead, I don't know, what would be a good way to describe? I'd display of flowers, but Al's saying also he's got no problem with produce occasionally.
I
so-
think what you just don't want to see skids of rock salt.
Right, or anything else out there, right.
Right, different
right.
things like
Yeah.
that, which I agree with, so.
But it can't be funeral displays and things like that, in terms of displays. It's, in other words, it would seem to me that they're trying to do is move spring flowers right now in the short window of the next 3 weeks and get them out there and move them. The other guy don't like it. But I don't know what the board's gonna do. But anyway, so there we are.
But in this season, we've basically
define
come
it
to a
not as
conclusion.
floral arrangements, because that opens up a whole new,
What about,
How about only from
I
spring
mean,
to...
it's really gotta be a condition, because
Right.
it's really here under open sales.
Right.
So it really has to be conditioned. So I can't see why you can't just condition it to flowers and produce.
Okay. I'm fine if that works for everybody else. So condition to the dimensions and flowers and produce.
Vegetables
Which-
aren't
which, yeah.
considered flowers, though. if
Well, they're
you're
considered
looking at-
produce.
Huh?
Oh, okay.
Flowers are produce.
flowers, produce, or plants?
And plants,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So if it's not a flowering plant, then we got that covered too.
Second to the
Yeah,
motion,
that
did
would
it?
cover it.
So,
Did somebody second the motion?
Not yet, I think
I don't think we have the motion yet.
I think, is
made a
that final
motion,
now?
but
Is
there
that,
was
I
no
did know that we're trying to get the verbiage correct, and,
Yeah.
so are we satisfied with that?
I'll
Okay, okay.
Do you want me to tell you what you have?
Yes,
Paul
please.
made a motion to grant the special permit. I added the 35 by 9 area to the right of the store and a 10 by 9 area to the left of the store for seasonal items, i.e. flowers, plants, and produce.
Sounds good to me.
Okay,
The only other condition I would put in is that, because, you know, we're saying 35 by 9, but it's not clear in my mind that that's, you know, like I say, I've been there enough, but I want to make sure it is a minimum of 4 feet from the fire lane.
Right, okay.
Back.
If
So I
the,
want to condition that in, unless there is some other safety, like fire or something that requires more.
my understanding from Adam, wouldn't that was the development site that they were going to conduct would include that the planning board
Yeah,
would not
they would-
allow.
Right, right.
So what I was looking at was that going in front of the planning board and making sure that that use was.
They will check that as
Right.
well.
So that's,
Excuse me.
now, just in my own mind, just clarify, you're here on behalf of Hannaford's.
correct.
He raised the question of the previous permit was for that whole complex.
In 1994?
You know, and I was unaware of that, so we haven't,
could you say,
this alteration of
This,
that permit is for the Hannaford store
Only.
only.
Only, yeah, not Walmart.
That's all I'm applying for is for Hannaford.
Yeah.
right.
No, we need that in.
Are you the same street address as Walmart?
No, the plaza's 301, but each store has a different address within the plaza. I'm not sure what theirs are, but we're 333.
So could we just use that to define where? So
Very
333 Mass Ave?
you saying
how
the
he
special
applied.
permit
Right,
is a
okay.
subset
333,
going down?
Right, so that,
To some
that's
other
strictly
person?
him then?
Yes. Walmart's 301.
Right, okay.
Walmart is 301, is that where that came from? Because he had, when they submitted this application, they had referenced it at 333.
That's the Hannaford store, is
Hannaford
333.
store. Okay. So this,
Every unit has its own number.
okay,
Okay, so that identifies it.
yeah.
Should we be specific and do it to the Hannaford Supermarkets at 333 Mass Ave?
Yeah, that wouldn't hurt.
That way,
Sure.
if it sells to Shop and Save, anything would end specifically, and it would then have to be reviewed again with the whole process, with everything, including the planning board and
All right, yeah.
so forth and so on, right?
If the use change, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, I think.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Guess we have the motion now.
It's been seconded?
Yes, I second.
Yeah. I don't have any other questions.
No, all set.
Okay.
Have you got a motion?
Oh, yeah, and second.
Seconded.
It's motion and seconded.
Why don't you read it, Lisa? See what we got,
She just did.
I just did.
huh?
Would you read it again, please?
Yeah. I wasn't paying attention.
Paul Doherty made a motion to grant the special permit for the outdoor display of seasonal items defined as a 35 by 9 area on the right-hand side of the store and a 10 by 9 area on the left-hand side of the store, specifically for seasonal items, flowers, produce, and plants. Al seconded the motion.
Okay, did you hear it?
I'm done.
Good.
I'm done.
All right.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
All in favor. Now, let me,
Oh, hang on a second.
before you leave, I need you, excuse me. This special permit, I should say this alteration to the special permit
Yeah, right.
is granted with the contingency that the petitioner comply with all licenses, regulations, statutes, and ordinances of any and all applicable local, state, and federal boards or agencies with jurisdiction over the premises. The granting of the special permit shall inure to the benefit of the applicant and shall be ceased in the event the business is sold or sublet to another party. So if it becomes something other than Hannaford's, then they come back. Special permit is subject to a periodic review by the permit granting authority or the enforcement officer to ensure compliance with these enumerated conditions, and non-compliance of these conditions may result in revocation of this permit. A copy of the board's decision should be filed with the town clerk within 14 days. Any party aggrieved by the board's decision may appeal to Superior Court within 20 days after the decision is filed with the town clerk. No special permit shall take effect until a copy of the decision bearing the certification of the town clerk that 20 days have elapsed after the decision and it's recorded in the Registry of Deeds. And this special permit shall lapse within 2 years unless substantial use or construction is commenced, which we already know it's commenced. And that's it. So, congratulations and good luck.
Yep, good luck.
Good luck. And you, again, I'll reiterate that the next step is the site plan review, and you'll talk to Adam. Yep. Okay. Very good. Good luck.
You're welcome.
See you, Mark.
Well, we're still
You
on.
just have to hustle the flowers a little harder.
Okay, John, what,
Motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Motion to
Second.
adjourn.
okay?